Hello YouTube, Snowflarky Zemos here with a Master Duel video today. I'm showcasing my Master Duel version of my Imperium Magnum Magnet Warrior Turbo deck. This is a less competitive build of Magnet Warriors that focuses on going all in on summoning the Imperium Magnum, the Superconductive Battlebot, because it's so cool, and in this build it's very possible to get two of them out on the first turn, which can be incredibly powerful and just a lot of fun to do. So, with that, let's get into the card by card. Starting with our monsters, I am playing 3 Alpha, the Electromagnetic Warrior. When it's normal or special summon, adds a level 8 Magna Warrior monster from the deck to our hand. This is the one we want to see the most in this build because it's going to get us either Valkyrion or Berserkion, whichever of the two we're missing for the fusion. Next, we have Beta, the Electromagnet Warrior, which if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from the deck to our hand. Usually we're going to grab Alpha if we don't have Alpha. If we have Alpha, we can grab Gamma so that we have all 3 for Berserkion. Also, do note that all these Magnet Warriors have an effect that during your opponent's turn you contribute this card to special summon a level 4 Magnet Warrior monster from the deck. Pretty cool if you got one of these left over on board, get another card out of the deck and use it. Next, we're playing 2 Gamma, the Electromagnet Warrior, the weakest of them, but if this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your hand. What is nice about this is that if you have this and another level 4, you can summon both, and that gives you 2 level 3s to go into Gorgonic Guardian, which is a pretty good card. Next, we're on Delta, the Magnet Warrior. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to your graveyard. Usually Gamma if you don't have it yet, but it can be whichever one you're missing for Berserkion. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish 3 level 4 lower Magnet Warrior monsters from your graveyard, except Delta, the Magnet Warrior. Special summon Valkyrion, the Magnet Warrior, from your hand, deck, or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Pretty cool, doesn't come off too often, but it can, so pretty cool effect to have. Next, we have Valkyrion, the Magnet Warrior. This is the one that has to be special summoned by tributing the old Alpha, Beta, and Gamma, and we're not doing that. It's just a 3,500 attack monster that we want to make Imperium Magnum, or to summon off of Delta, or to summon off of Imperium Magnum's effect, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, the retrained big Magnet Warrior, Berserkion, the Electro-Magnet Warrior. This monster can have a normal summoner set. It's got to be special summoned by banishing Alpha, Beta, and Gamma, the Electro-Magnet Warriors, so the new ones here. And, of course, from your hand, graveyard, or face up from your monster zone, you can banish a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your graveyard to target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. And of course, if this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target the banished Alpha, Beta, and Gamma special summon them. That'll give you all their effects, and of course have them on board again for you to banish to summon another Berserkion. That's kind of the idea of the loop here. So pretty cool. And that is it for the monster cards. Next, we're going to be talking about spells here. I am playing 3 copies of Polymerization. A little overkill, but I always want to see Polymerization in the opener in this build, so I'm maxing it out at 3. Does it brick sometimes? Yes, this deck bricks no matter what, though, so I'm sticking with it. Polymerization just fuses a monster, which is going to be our Imperium Magnum. Next, I'm playing 3 copies of Fusion Sage. It adds a Polymerization from the deck to your hand. You can also play a copy of King of the Swamp, but since I don't really need King of the Swamp's second effect, I think Fusion Sage is a cool looking card, so it gives me a reason to play it. Next, I'm playing 3 copies of Fusion Conscription. Reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck and add one of the fusion materials whose name is specifically listed on the card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And if you do for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot normally special summon monsters with that added name. Normally we want to add a Valkyrion off of this because we're not summoning it anyway, but if we already have Valkyrion, we can grab Berserkion if it means we're going to go into the fusion. So whichever one you don't have off of Alpha, we can get it from Fusion Conscription. Next, we're running 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. This is a very suspect choice. Maybe you probably should run Pot of Prosperity more. But one thing about Pot of Extravagance is it pluses you 1, which is pretty nice in this card and deck. And all you have to do is not banish both Imperium Magnums, and you can still do the double Imperium Magnum setup. And that happens enough that I'm still playing Extravagance. But if you want to always guarantee the pot of the double Imperium Magnum when you get it, you can run Prosperity instead. Just note that sometimes you really need that extra card. Next, I'm playing 3 copies of Magnet Induction. If you control a Magnet Warrior whose original level is 4 or lower, special summon a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck with a different name than the cards you control. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, Magnet Warrior monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects. So yeah, pretty cool. This just gets you another Magnet Warrior, so makes it a lot easier to pull Alpha out on turn 1, no matter what Magnet Warrior you get, and that makes it pretty good. And that is it for the spell cards. Next, we're going to take a look at our trap cards. I am running 3 copies of Necrofusion. This trap card, Fusion, summons a fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials mentioned on it from your graveyard face down, but it cannot attack this turn. This is how we get the double Imperium Magnum set up, because if we can get access to this card after we have fused our initial Berserkian and Valkyrion via polymerization, then at the very start of our opponent's next turn we can Necrofusion into a second one, which will give us 2 Omni Negate monsters on board with 4,000 attack. That float into a 3,500 attack monster and a 3,000 attack monster. So pretty cool, pretty awesome. Trap Trick ups the consistency of getting Necrofusion, because if we have Trap Trick, we have Necrofusion. All we have to do is banish a normal trap from our deck, except Trap Trick, and if you do set a trap card with the same name directly from your deck, it can be activated this turn. You can only activate 1 trap card for the rest of this turn after this card resolves. Next, just to fill up 2 more of our spaces, I am just playing 2 copies of Solemn Judgment. If we don't have Necrofusion to do the double Valkyrion, well, Solemn Judgment is just a trap card that's an Omni Negate. So sometimes that extra Omni Negate in just a trap card form with a spare card that would otherwise be a dead card helps solidify our board to basically stop our opponent's turn. And if we can stop our opponent's turn, you will definitely win if you have Imperium Magnum on board. So that is pretty cool. That's it for the main deck. Not too much to talk about the extra deck here. Most of it is extravagance fodder, except for the only 2 important cards, the 3 copies of Imperium Magnum. This, it's got to be special summoned with Valkyrion and Berserkion. It's got to be fusion summoned, so you can't special summon it by other ways. And then once returned during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell, trap card, or monster effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy the card. If this face-up card on the face-up card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you special summon both Valkyrion and Berserkion from your hand or deck, ignoring their summoning conditions. Would be nice if it's summoned from the graveyard too, but it doesn't, so another reason why we run 3 copies of each is because we want to have one to pull out, which is pretty cool. Yep, 2 of these on the field is pretty awesome. The other one that's here to talk about is Gorgonic Guardian. It's an XZ that requires 2 level 3 rock-type monsters. That's what all these Electromagnet Warriors are. So if you got 2 of them on board, you can make Gorgonic Guardian, which is a pretty cool monster, because once per turn, during either player's turn, you can attach a material from it, target a face-up card your opponent controls, its attack becomes 0, and if it does, its effects are negated. So essentially I have monster effect negation on that. And in this deck, when you get the best possible hand, you can end your first turn on 2 Imperium Magnum and Gorgonic Guardian, which is a monster effect, and 2 Omni Negates, which is pretty cool. As far as an anime deck, that is more negates than most have, so pretty cool. The rest of it is just my Master Duel Waking the Dragon targets. I got my Ultimate Falcons in here in case I wanted to play copies of Waking the Dragon for any reason. But these are the only 2 really to be concerned with in this build. You can go with other level 3 XZs. Maybe some rank 8 XZs for if you got a Valkyrion and Berserkion on board. Hope Harbinger might be worth. But this is what I'm going with, and I'm not spinning the dust on anything else. So that is it for the deck. So getting into a duel here to show the deck in action. Looking at our starting hand, it's not a great hand, but without interruption we'll be able to summon a couple monsters, so I decided to see how far we can go here. We're going to start with our Fusion Conscription, the thing I want Ash to be baited out on the most. With that, I of course add a Valkyrion the Magna Warrior, and with Alpha, it looks like they don't have any interruptions, so I'm searching Berserkion. I'm going to play Magnet Conversion to pull Beta out of the deck. Beta is going to grab me Gamma, so I have all 3 online. And we're going to play Poly, fusing our 2 big Magnet Warriors into Imperium Magnum here. And I'm going to XZ the 2 level 3s into a Organic Guardian. That ends our turn on a Monster Negate and a Spell Trap card or monster effect. So, 2 negates, not great, but, maybe it's enough. We'll see. They play Infinite Impermanence, trying to stop Gorgonic Guardian. I'm not going to let that slide. Now they're going into 1-for-1. Looks like we're up against DDD, Savant, Kepler. I let the Savant Kepler effect go off for some reason. I'm not sure if it didn't, if I didn't have the chain on correctly, but they're just going to Doom King here, try to use its effect, but I'm going to use Gorgonic Guardian, negate the effect, make it 0 attack, but they can go into King Gilgamesh, which is going to set scales and kill my Gorgonic Guardian. Now they have 2 back row to set, and that kind of stinks. That Gorgonic Guardian was lost, but we're continuing with it. I'm going to go with Gamma. They're going to play Rivalry of the Warlords, which I'm not going to negate because everything's rock, and that doesn't matter. And then, of course, I summon Alpha off of my Gamma. And I decide to go into Berserkian over another Gorgonic Guardian because I have an Alpha to pop scales. That'll hinder future plays. And when they try to play their trap card here, I'm going to negate it here with my good old Imperium Magnum. Now we'll destroy that monster. Now I did forget that this monster can summon anything from the extra deck. I kind of thought it was just the face-up pendulum monsters from the extra deck. Did forget that, so they are able to remove my Berserkian as a result, but they can't deal with my Imperium Magnum. So Imperium Magnum just rushes over it, and I got Trap Trick, so that I'll be able to summon a second one right at the draw phase, and that will wrap things up. Trap Trick into Necrofusion, Necrofusion banishing my Berserkian and Valkyrion. To go into his second Imperium Magnum. Now I got 2 Omni negates. Dark Contract, we're going to negate it. And they're going to scoop because they got nothing else to do. So that's basically kind of what it looks like when things go your way. So that is it for the Magnet Warrior deck. It's a pretty fun deck to just play and get a cheesy, fun replay with, but definitely not a good deck with a climb with. This is a really inconsistent deck that builds not, you know, there are decks that can build much better negate boards for much less investment. But if you've ever wanted to show off Magnet Warriors or just make funny replays, whenever it goes off, it is very funny. You know, I'm sure opponents on the other side are quite annoyed when they lose to the double Magnum Gorgonic Guardian. So, you know, if you're playing in something like Silver where you can't really D-rank, this is a fun way to just get through your Silver or whatever if you haven't played in a bit. But yeah, definitely just a for fun deck, and I enjoy it for that, especially since it wasn't too much, you know, just opening the Magnet Warrior packs, got yell out of it. Necrofusions are kind of hard because they're super rare and don't really go with anything else, but a lot of stuff crossed over, so it was not too much dust investment. I had a lot of fun with it. Let me know what you think. Are you a big fan of Magnet Warriors? I'd love to know what you're doing with Magnet Warriors. It's a deck that I definitely think is cool. I got Valkyrion as a kid and was a big fan of it. So, yeah, I'd love to talk more about them. So, let me know what you think. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.